The boy. The boy is back! Hello, YouTube. It's your guy, Who's Fly, B3, back with another TV review for a fun little TV show. It's the one we've all been waiting forever for. I'm recording this at 6:30 p.m. on the day it dropped. Don't know when I'll have it up, but this is my review for Season 1 of Godzilla. Singular Point. It was a cool show. We fans have been wanting a Godzilla anime show for a long time. We finally got our anime Godzilla fix with the trilogy, but I felt like this show is what they wanted the anime trilogy to be. I feel like this was a redo, because remember, the anime trilogy was originally supposed to be a show with episodes and stuff. But then, like, Toho slashed the budget, and they slashed the timetable, and changed what they wanted halfway through, and which is why the anime trilogy kind of turned out to not be a fan favorite series. But hopefully people will give Godzilla Singular Point a chance. I feel like most fans will go into it expecting a shit ton of kaiju on kaiju action. But there's really not that much. There's a bunch of kaiju. A bunch. Some are kind of renamed, some aren't given names, but are recognizable, you know? Like, there is a Kumanga Megalon fusion? Kumangalon? And then once they die, they turn into kind of another noticeable kaiju, who was very different than their original. And there's also a renamed Gabara, who appears to be much more important than they actually maybe turn out to be. I mean, they're still very important. One of the most, probably the second most important kaiju in the show, maybe third. It's very cool. It's very honorable to the franchise, but it's some high concept sci-fi. High concept sci-fi. Lots of crazy physics and predicting the future. Not time travel, just predicting the future so that you can, you know, survive it. There's this big upcoming cataclysm, and Godzilla is going to destroy not just the planet, but all of reality. These are the highest stakes in Godzilla media ever. Godzilla is going to destroy reality. All the kaiju in the show are from like another dimension, and they're kind of terraforming our dimension with this red dust. There's like this flock of Rodan circling the planet. It was nice having more than one Rodan, because that's kind of in Rodan's roots. You know, there were two Rodan in the original film. And there was very much like a Heisei Gauss vibe with these Rodan, because they could evolve within their own lifetimes, just like Heisei Gauss. And all of them, most of the monsters could do that, evolve at will. Which is a power that we've seen before. We saw Shin Godzilla had the power to evolve at will, and you might not know this, Heisei Gamera had the power to evolve at will. And, you know, Heisei Gauss had the power to evolve after consuming enough meats. But yeah, it was very much like Heisei Gauss, because there were like a ton of them. They were terraforming the planet. They could evolve within their own lifetime. Very Heisei Gauss. I love Toho's current commitment to extremely unique Godzilla stories. Like, there's a lot of kaiju in this, but there's not a lot of kaiju on kaiju. See Godzilla fight Mandas a little bit, and maybe some Rodans who are far smaller. These are some of the smallest Godzilla kaiju ever, but I don't really care. I didn't even think about it until we were at like the Kumanga scene on the docks. And there were all these Kumangalon, is what I'm going to call them, Kumangalon. And I was like, it just kind of hit me like, hey, all the kaiju in this show are pretty small. And I like didn't even notice or care at the beginning of the show. That's how much I was enjoying it. The animation's really good. It's far better than the anime trilogy. But once again, the anime trilogy, Toho just made their team rush it. That's why it was iffy. But all the animation here is really good. It's a great blend of 2D and 3D. I really like that. We got a lot of cool character designs for both human characters and monsters. We have interesting human characters. They could have been a little more interesting. Uh, and there's no giant kaiju fight at the end. You do get the fight that you expect to get, which is Godzilla versus Jet Jaguar. Uh, but it's not a long fight. It's a pretty short fight. Because this show's all about brains. Pretty much every problem in this show is solved by brain power. Almost none of it's solved by brawn, other than just Jet Jaguar defeating a few kaiju with brute force. But even then, there's strategy, and Jet Jaguar itself is a mental accomplishment. This show, it's all about using the brain. Lots of crazy high concept sci-fi physics shit. The show's can be pretty difficult to understand. I'm not gonna lie, it can be pretty difficult to understand. There are even times where I was like, what are they talking about? Because I actually watch a lot of high concept sci-fi with all this physics shit and whatnot. It's fun and all, but throughout the show I was like, okay. And they kept re-explaining things, which really helped. Because it's a confusing show, but it's a smart show. That being said, I feel like this show could easily alienate the general audience, which is a problem. But it's really cool. The show actually reminded me a lot of SSSS Gridman. If you've seen SSSS Gridman and really liked that, you're going to love this show. And I do believe I have reviewed that Gridman show as well. Can't wait for the sequel. But yeah, there's just so much going on with this, the red dust, and it's terraforming, but not quite, because it's terraforming, but it's also going to destroy everything. All of reality. Godzilla is this great destroyer. That's another thing I love that Toho is doing with all their Godzilla stuff right now. Toho is extremely committed to having Godzilla just be a straight up villain. Their return to Godzilla with Shin, straight up villain. Anime trilogy, straight up villain, right? And then we've got this series, straight up villain. Pretty cool. Godzilla's forms are dope. The first one is the one that a lot of people thought was Titanosaurus. We don't see much of it, or much of the second one, which is kind of like an amphibious crawling up on land thing. The third one we see a good bit of. It's that blue form that kind of looks maybe a little dinosaur-y, more dinosaur-y than usual. That's actually my favorite of the four. I thought that was an awesome form. Then you have his Ultima form, which is his final form, which is a bit more traditional, but also very creepy. Also loving Toho's commitment to making Godzilla creepy. The blue form has his eyes on the end of his nose almost, and Ultima has the big, strange, unhinging mouth like Shin did, which I love. I love horrific shit like that, man. Godzilla has a bunch of new powers. The way his atomic breath works is new, and it's really cool. He has this new ability with where you can generate flesh to catch missiles and shit. Oh, that's dope. It's so dope. It can be kind of hard to see Godzilla sometimes, and also the Gabra monster that isn't Gabra, because they renamed Gabra. They can be difficult to see sometimes because the Gabra one has the ability to just straight up control the dust. The others produce the dust, but Gabra just straight up controls it. So there's that. There's all these crazy weapons, lots of fun references. And one thing I want to say about the show is it only has 2 of the big 5 featured in it. Mothra is kind of referenced because there are these little moths that are just real moths that look like Mothra. It's kind of just a visual reference, almost pointless, really. They just couldn't help themselves. Mothra's so popular, I guess. But yeah, there's no real Mothra in it. No Ghidorah, period. And uh, Mechagodzilla is not a featured character either. Rodan is in it heavily, and I feel like Rodan is the one out of the big five that gets shafted the most. And of course, Godzilla is the number one in the big five and has to be in. He has to be in it because he is Godzilla. You know, if it's titled Godzilla Singular Point, it's going to have the big G. It's going to have the big G. One of my favorite things about this show is the commitment to Jet Jaguar. I love Jet Jaguar. Jet Jaguar is the boy. That's what I was when I said the boy is back in the beginning. I wasn't talking about me. I was talking about Jet Jaguar. I love Jet Jaguar so much. My favorite robot in all of fiction. I love him. He was the big good guy in the first film I ever remember watching. You know, Godzilla versus Megalon. That movie shaped my entire life and who I am today. Jet Jaguar is my boy. Even though that movie sucks ass. Yes, I know. But Jet Jaguar is still my boy. And it was wild. It was wild! I thought the show was really interesting. I thought there was good drama. Like, there was this one scene where our protagonist, she was like, there's going to be a cataclysm really soon. Like, this year. According to all this future prediction stuff. And then all these, like, you know, important world controlling people on this board and stuff were like, show us the proof. And then she showed them the proof and they all just ignored it. And I was like, that hits too fucking close to home, especially after reading all that Roxxon stuff in Immortal Hulk these past couple of days. I'll be reviewing all of Immortal Hulk on the main channel, Godzilla and Gigan, link in our link tree down below. But yeah, there's just so much crazy stuff going on in here. There are a couple things I didn't like. I didn't like when Jet Jaguar's programming got changed and he became like an infant brain-wise. That was really annoying, and the voice that was done for it was really annoying. Like if they just wanted to like kind of wipe Jet Jaguar and have to have Jet Jaguar like relearn things and connect all these AI synapses, that would have been cool. But did you have to have the Jet Jaguar talking in this little baby voice and saying "Mama"? No, that was so weird, right? That was so strange. I think we were supposed to find it cute, but it wasn't cute. It was just annoying. Maybe it's. I watched the dub, by the way. I just want a full disclosure. I watched the dub, no subtitles. And speaking of subtitles, there are a lot of parts where our two protagonists are texting each other. We have the male protag and the female protag, and they're separate almost the entire movie. I think they're in the same room together maybe twice the whole film. And they're texting each other the entire time because they're both like super geniuses with all this stuff. And he and her text each other very quickly. Like, they type faster than humans should be able to type. And the first time they do it, it's going through it, and the subtitles make it almost impossible to keep up with the texts. Because, like, one of their messages are displayed up top and one's displayed at the bottom, and you gotta like go back and forth up and down reading them and trying to focus on the screen at the same time, and it just like can't be done. Luckily they're like also talking over it, but I think in the first time they did it, it was a little different than the times after that. So keep that in mind. It could be kind of hard to keep up with their text conversations, very, very much so, but they're a very important part of the film, so also keep that in mind. But yeah, so I actually thought this would be a one-season show. I thought it would be a one and done. There's an after credit scene. Big spoiler right now. Huge spoiler. Mechagodzilla. They're seen building a very Showa-esque Mechagodzilla in the end, which isn't. The after credit scene wasn't exciting because it revealed Mechagodzilla. I kind of didn't care about that. The design wasn't anything special. It was like almost too similar to Showa Mechagodzilla. Hopefully it'll change a lot before season 2. I was only excited about the after credits because it let me know there would be a season 2. I had no idea. I thought it was going to be a one and done. And also, it revealed that a character who we kind of thought was dead is alive, and I think seeing him interact with our characters will be very interesting in the second season. And it appears that he might be villainous, even though we thought he'd be more heroic. It's hard to tell. Not sure what's going to go on there. Can't wait to see how they bring Godzilla back, because he disappears at the end, obviously, because they stopped the climax. And I already gave my spoiler alert. Can't wait for season 2. I thought it was really good. I thought the acting was pretty normal for a dub, a Western dub in the modern day of a Japanese property, but nothing real above and beyond. Just pretty average dub-wise. Characters were fun, but could be kind of hard to relate to just because they were all like so smart. There was this one guy who you could relate to, but he didn't do that much. He was kind of just there for all our genius characters to explain things to. And we had fun comedic relief, but not too much. Didn't follow a lot of tropes. It was very interesting, I feel like this is what they wanted the anime trilogy to be like when it was originally supposed to be a show. Like, lots of high concept sci-fi stuff going on, lots of philosophy that can kind of make you think. Very human story. Monsters are kind of just a background to it, which is fine. Godzilla doesn't even do terribly much. He doesn't even really become active until almost like halfway through the show. But it's fine, because it is good. If you're expecting just non-stop monster action, you're not going to like it. If you don't want to watch a show that makes you really think, well, it's like, I get it. Every show I watch, every time I watch TV, I don't want to watch this big intellectual show that makes me think. Sometimes I just want to watch cheesy garbage so I can relax, This isn't really the show you put on if you want to relax. It's because you have to think. And even when you thought your hardest, you're probably not going to understand it. I ain't no physicist. I didn't understand everything that was going on. It was real high concept. Take a shot every time I say high concept. Don't do that. You'll die. But I liked the show, but I think it's just something that like big sci-fi and big kaiju fans will probably enjoy, and I feel like maybe the general audience won't really connect to this show very well. And that is it for my review of Godzilla Singular Point Season 1. Really hope Season 2 gets here as soon as possible. Hopefully they won't take their damn time with it like they have been with the Ultraman Season 2 and the sequel to SSSS Gridman. Seems like all these Toku anime really take their damn time. I don't know. But that's it. Thank you all very much for your support. My next review on this channel will probably be A Quiet Place 2. I should have reviewed it forever ago, because I saw it in theaters like the week it came out, and I just didn't review it because I got so busy. Normally I would have reviewed it the day of, but I saw it with friends, so I hung out with friends after. And then after I hung out with friends, I immediately had a date. Then after that, I went to sleep. So I just kind of didn't happen, and I've been putting it off. And just putting other uploads ahead of it, like the Power Rangers unboxing videos we've been doing and stuff. But that's it. Thank you all very much for your support. That's getting close to the 20-minute mark, so I should probably bounce. Thank you all very much for the support. Remember to rate, comment, subscribe. Check out all the links in the description below, Facebook, Twitter, etc. I'll definitely be getting all the Movie Monster series figures for this show, every single one, which you can see reviews of on the main channel. I'm uploading a lot of reviews there right now for both Monster Comics and Monster Figures. That's it. Thank you all once again. See you all next time.